The first topic I want to explore is understanding disruption. Disruption has been a very commonly used word over the last 5 years, and it feels as if large-scale disruptions are becoming more and more common. Are carriers facing more disruption in decades past, and if so, what are some of the causes? Beth, do you want to take the lead on that?
I mean, carriers are facing more disruption than ever. The speed, scale and frequency of disruptions, whether political, environmental or economic, have significantly increased. Unlike decades past, today's globalised supply chains means that a single disruption in one region can ripple across the entire network, as we've seen in the last 10 days with Trump's tariffs and the removal of the de minimis on origin China and Hong Kong goods. And I had a raft of examples to share with you, but the impact those actions had on the entire e-commerce industry who shipped to the USA, regardless of where you ship from in the world, and the way they were introduced with essentially no notice is probably worth a few minutes discussion, as I imagine it impacted most people in this room. And the scale of the misinformation last week being circulated online was frightening. And unfortunately, it's still continuing with solutions being offered that are nothing short of duty evasion and are fraudulent. And in that situation, the liability is going to sit with the sending retailer and not the carrier. Solutions are being offered encouraging retailers to declare at the cost price of the goods and not at the retail price. And there's only a very, very limited set of circumstances where that could be acceptable and should only ever be considered in consultation with specialist US trade attorneys. So from our side last week, the most important thing was ensuring that we very quickly understood the situation, what it meant for our retailers and what compliance solutions we could offer them, and that we kept their parcels moving. That's our job. Our role in any event like this is to get on top of the detail and be the expert. So as soon as it happened, we circulated a daily update to all our retailers, briefing them on what had happened in the previous 24 hours and what that meant to them specifically and what options they had available to them. So for parcels entering the US via postal clearance, USPS had no processes to collect the duty. So they then suspended accepting packages from China and Hong Kong posts, only to reverse that decision hours later due to the chaos at the receiving airports that created. But by lifting the suspension, there was still a problem as they still couldn't collect the duty and retailers are still left wondering what they can do. Then at the same time, parcels entering the US under commercial clearance, which is a much favoured solution due to the flexibility around clearance and delivery speeds, were being rejected under the normal Type 86 clearance if they were China or Hong Kong origin, regardless of where they had been shipped from. Those parcels then had to be cleared under two different clearance methods, Type 11 or formal clearance, and duty was applied to the entire declared value of the parcel, plus an additional 10% duty, plus a customs fee. So all of a sudden, retailers were left exposed with duty bills that they haven't collected at checkout and no way of collecting that duty from the consignees. So for us, we knew it was about giving our customers options, and in a situation like this, options matter. So for every parcel that we received for the USA, we were able to identify whether there was any individual item in that parcel that had an origin of China, which meant that we could continue to send those parcels as normal without delay. And then for those parcels that did contain China origin, we could isolate the items inside the box that were specifically China origin, give our customers a choice of clearance method, be it postal or Type 11 or formal clearance. And then some customers just asked us to hold the goods, to ride it out and see what would happen. So the de minimis has been reinstated, but all but temporarily, whilst Customs and Border Protection introduced a robust method of collecting duties in both the postal and commercial channels. So this is going to come back around. So for last week, I think everybody in this room that does anything cross-border had a fairly torrid time of it.
Yeah, absolutely.